The good old days.
I wish somebody would have told me, babe, that someday these would be the good old days.
Copyright strike. Hello, Champagne Dreamers. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, welcome. I'm glad to have you. My name is Janessa, and I'm your trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And for today's video, we are going to hit the nostalgia train hard. We are going to talk about makeup I miss. I feel like I saw something like this. If I remember what it is, I know it wasn't this exactly, but I feel like there was somebody that I watched recently that was talking about makeup that isn't being made anymore, discontinued favorites or something like that. And this is kind of like that. If I find something, like I said, I'll link it down in the description box below. But I just wanted to talk about 5 brands that I miss, and some of them have gone away, and some of them have gone away sort of, and then some of them have just kind of lost their shine. The honorable mention before we even get started is MAC Cosmetics, because I feel like back in the day, 15 years ago, they were the shit. Like, they were so pigmented, they were so good, and it's just never been the same. So MAC is not on this list, but she definitely could be, because I feel like the lipsticks are still pretty good, but the eyeshadows have been kind of meh. Get it together, MAC. But if you want to find out which 5 brands I do talk about, and if you want to guess what any of them are, go ahead and pause the video and pop them down in the comments. But if you are ready to find out which 5 brands I want to talk about in makeup I missed, then go ahead and stick around. We're getting into it right now. So first up, I want to talk about a brand that was recently discontinued, and I didn't love a ton of their products, but the things that I loved, the blushes and the highlighters, were really good. And that is Marc Jacobs. I don't know what happened with Marc Jacobs Beauty. I mean, I can guess, because those eyeshadow palettes, where it was like 7 boring shades for like $50, I mean, girl, get it together. I tried their foundation because it went half off, and half off was still like $29, and it was still about $16.50 too much, if you know what I'm saying. But the cheek products were so good. This beautiful, like, corally infused golden highlight from the Christmas collection a year or two ago, this is beautiful, and it's so silky and just goes on, and you can wear full-on drag queen highlight like I like to do. You can buff it out and just get a beautiful inner glow. So gorge, and we love this cherry packaging. So cute. If this had been the packaging all the time, maybe they would have stuck around. I don't know. But what I'm really going to miss are the blushes. These like 2-tone blushes that you could wear either shade, but when you blended them together, they were perfection. And especially this shade. This is the shade Lines and Last Night. And it's just a peach dream. It's matte and beautiful. And it's got this really light peach down here, and then this kind of terracotta orange. And when you blended them together, you got this sort of ruddy peach blush. I mean, it's perfection. This is what really convinced me that I could love peach blush. I did recently do an update to my blush journey video. I'll go ahead and link that up in the cards in case you missed it. This was in my original blush journey video, and now that this is gone, I had to find some substitutes. So this is what really turned me on to peach blush. I used to be pink blush all day, every day. And this told me, like, you can do beautiful peach blush. A green eye look, who loves green more than me? A green eye look with a peach blush and a red lip, who can take her? So beautiful. I love this. I miss this. I am cherishing this. I'm holding on to it. There's so much in this pan, but I've traveled with it a couple times, and I'm worried that it's gonna like crack and fall apart. I just love it. I wish that it would come back. The second brand that I want to talk about is a brand that went away, sort of, and that's Becca Cosmetics. Now, Becca didn't really have a lot for me. I, again, was not interested in Becca. I was not surprised when I heard that Becca was going out of business. After they tried that, like, no pigment foundation that was basically just a, like, mattifying skin primer. It's like, that's a primer. That's not a foundation, bitch. Like, that's ridiculous and stupid and gimmicky. I was like, I'm not surprised that they're going. Chrissy Teigen, I think, drove them into the ground with, like, 15 collections of the same bronze beige bullshit. But they did have one product that I absolutely loved. Their duochrome highlighters. Oh my god, these are so good. And I don't do a lot of swatching because I've got big nails on. I'm trying to do lots of videos in a day. And so I am going to show you some swatches of these because these are just gorgeous. This is the shade Champagne Dream Flashes Bellini. And you can see it's just kind of a golden peach with some pink. They have this, like, duochrome that's not super in your face, and they go on and they're just gorgeous. Then we have the shade Opal Flashes Jade, and this is kind of a lavender with green, really beautiful duochrome moment. I have used this on the inner corner for a little pop. Just stunning. This is the shade Topaz Flashes Guilt. This is the one that really convinced me that these were worth my time. This is the first one that I bought. I was at a horror convention and I did a Freddy Krueger look, and I added this color with my kind of red and green eye look and kind of a bruisey blush, and it just was the perfect smoky, a little bit gold, a little bit green, almost too dark. It was almost smoky and too dark to be a highlighter, but like still clearly a highlighter. It's hard to explain. Just so beautiful. I absolutely love this. This is the one that convinced me. Oh, so good. And then the last one is Amethyst Flashes Geode. And this is kind of a beautiful purpley pink. When I look at it this way from the side, it's almost got like an orange to it. It's just a really beautiful shade. So I'm going to insert some swatches so that you can see these up close because they really, I love them. I was watching a video from Makeup by Torrance recently where he was playing with the Heather Austin palette from Adept Cosmetics. I'll go ahead and link that up in the corner. And he used one of these Becca highlighters and I just, it was perfect. It absolutely accented the look. It was everything. It was so good. The looks were stunning. And I wish these would come back. Smashbox has like brought back some of the Becca products because it's all under the same umbrella. So maybe these will get a second chance at life. I don't know, but these are gorgeous. If you ever have a chance to grab one, like somebody's decluttering and you have a chance to get one, I would say grab it because they're so fun. Now, the next two brands that I'm going to talk about are still around. They're still here. They're still, like, sort of clocked in, but they're just not working as hard as they used to, you know what I mean? They used to be the it girl, and now they've, like, moved off to the suburbs and, like, had a couple of terrible children and, like, a marriage that's not very happy, and it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And the first one is Urban Decay. Oh, Urban Decay used to be that cool girl. I remember way back in the day when you used to have to go to head shops to buy Urban Decay. You had to go and in a glass case with bongs on one side and one hitters on the other, you would have a little display of Manic Panic hair dye and Urban Decay cosmetics, and they looked like little bullet casings. Oh, so good. They came in little just like plain cardboard, like brown cardboard with like angry black lettering on it. It was just so good. It was so wonderful. Now, am I still sometimes a clown for Urban Decay? You tell me. It was like 70% off, and I was curious. But Urban Decay just has not been the same, and I miss old school Urban Decay. So I specifically miss a couple of things. One of them is kind of old, but I actually did buy it in Sephora, and that is the eyeshadow single specifically in Graffiti. And I know that they still have eyeshadow singles in the little pots that you can like press them out, and they make their own palettes you can put them into, which is an interesting idea to customize, but it's so much wasted plastic rather than just selling little metal pans. But these little singles that they used to have, this little artwork is adorable, and the shade Graffiti was the most beautiful, perfect green I have ever had. It was so good. It was so good. I absolutely loved it. I went through at least 2 of these. This one is empty. I can show you the inside because I actually scraped it out and I did some like Franken makeup because it had gotten really old and I had hit pan in the middle. And so I just scraped the outside and played around and did some experiments with it. But this was so good. I loved these. And this is one of the OG bullet casing lipsticks. And this is in my favorite shade of lipstick ever, which I just wish they would bring this back. Like, you have to have the formula somewhere in a filing cabinet. Somebody's got it on a hard drive. Like, there has to be knowledge of how this was made. And it's the shade Burnout. And you can see, I didn't just use it down to the nub. Like, we'll show a close-up so you can see how deep it is. I dug this out. Still some product in there. I kept it there so that you can still see the color. If it didn't smell like straight up river clay, I would probably still put this on my lips. I would still dig it out because it was this beautiful pink coral with a little bit of gold shimmer. It was so perfect. This lipstick is one of my biggest, like, the thing that really just hits me in the heart of I wish I could still find this is Burnout lipstick. Now, another shade that was also good was Oozy. You know how when you get glitter lipsticks, usually it's like glitter in some sort of clear base and you just get like weird patchy glitter? I don't know how they did it. Oozy was a silver glitter lipstick that went on in like a solid application of glitter. And it felt a little chunky on the lips, but not as bad as you would think. It's not like you just took glitter and patted it into like a base. It was like, it still felt like lipstick, but when you press your lips together, it didn't get all gunky. Oozy and Burnout are still, things that I dream about, things that I fantasize about, them maybe bringing back. I don't have a lot of hope, but I would love it if they did, because I just need them in my life. The other brand that I really miss is when Too Faced used to not be a complete shit show disaster. What happened? Now, Too Faced has had some touch and go history for sure, but they used to put out like interesting, good, colorful palettes. Not the holiday collections ever. Those were always trash. And like the Power of Makeup with Nikki Tutorials, we all know the drama about that, and they like totally ripped her off and that was trash. But they used to have some really beautiful palettes. So the first one that I want to talk about, the Anniversary palette. This was that like 20-year anniversary. And I know they had 2 different designs. I think this was maybe a Sephora exclusive. I got this, I'm pretty sure it's Sephora when it went half off. They had another one that had the like winking eye, or like a cat with winking eyes kind of look. I liked this better. I love that 50s, like, atomic sort of look that they did. I think it's vintage. I think it's beautiful. And I know this is probably going to blind you because it's got a gold interior, but these shades, these were like the original ones when they had launched, and then these were the anniversary, like, companion reinterpretation shades. This is a great palette. A lot of people really dissed this. They hated how big it was. They thought it was indulgent, whatever. This is actually a great palette. That theme of hating on things that are actually really great is absolutely true of this palette as well. And this is one that I think a lot of people really missed out on. And that's the Life is a Festival palette. People ripped into this one. And this is when people were really starting to like not be vibing with Too Faced, and they're like, is it kiddie? Is it adult? Like, where does it fall? Kind of packaging. And everybody dissed this because they're like, it's supposed to be about festivals, but it's pastel and it's a glitter unicorn and it's rainbows and it's just all the things. It's too much. But you know what? These are the best duochromes that Too Faced ever put out. I would venture a guess to say. I would say that. I would argue it. Your Honor. Sustained. These are the best duochromes, I think, that Too Faced ever put out. These are gorgeous. It's what I used on my eye today, and actually, there's some videos where I'm wearing a similar look that's more purple. That was with this palette. These are beautiful. I have deep, deep depressions in some of these. Oh, so good. And I have a lot of makeup. So a lot of times my palettes will look barely used, because even if I use it a few times, I don't get that deep. When we do the close-ups, you're going to see like this shade right here. I wouldn't be surprised if I hit pan on that one of the next times that I use it. This one has gotten quite a bit of use. This one has a lot of use. These two are probably the most. I use these for the purple look. They're great. The Unicorn Tears highlighter, Beamin', this yellow shade, so good. There ain't no shame in my game. I loved that palette enough that, you know what? I bought a backup. I still have one in the packaging from when this was clearanced out at 50% off. I don't buy backups because, like I said, I own a ton of makeup. So unless it's like foundation or something like concealer or mascara that I use every time I do my face, I just like to have like a couple foundations and like really use them. I might buy a backup, but eyeshadow, I don't buy backups because there's no point, because I very rarely hit pan. This I bought a backup, and I wouldn't be surprised if I hit pan on several shades in this palette. It was so good. So many people missed out on that. And now they're doing all this nude teddy bear, born this way, beige bullshit. What are you doing, Too Faced? You were always about color. And even if you were gonna embrace the nude trend, you are several years too late. That's not where we're at. We're not in a place that's doing nude palettes. You know, the naked palettes, everybody's old news. Everybody's talking about how they're outdated, they're old. All these nudie kind of palettes. Right now, if you're doing like nude neutrals, most people are doing like nude mauves and like pinky nudes. So very similar to like the Naked 3, but even more like in that mauve purple. So do something like that. Stop doing this beigey brown bullshit. Bring back some of the fun color. Related to that, I also love the Too Faced lines that they did exclusively in Sephora and in Ulta. Now, the Sephora one, you can still find some of the products. Some of them have been discontinued. I love that peach line. They had a couple misses in that, like the weird cream to powder blush and bronzer and highlighter. Straight up trash. Those were terrible. But the lipsticks were good. The eyeshadow palette, the first one, the like peachy mattes, beautiful. That peachy smell is delightful. The setting spray was phenomenal. The setting powder was perfection. So good. There were so many good things in that peach line. And then the line at Ulta was the Tutti Frutti collection, and that they just got rid of altogether. I don't know what happened there. The packaging on the The packaging on the Tutti Frutti collection was so cute. Again, I like that anniversary palette. It's got that sort of 50s vintage feel. It's got little gold accents. It's got little pictures of fruit. This is the little champagne. Oh, so good. And they had that gummy bear highlighter that fucking smelled like gummy bears till I wanted to lick it out of the container. I love gummy bears. That highlighter smelled so good and so realistic. But these products are so good, and they discontinued the whole line. I wish they would find a way to do a new version of the Tutti Frutti collection. Because that's when Too Faced was good. When Too Faced was doing colorful, cheeky, scented, fun products, that was the thing. That's what they were known for. That's what they were good at. And now they're just like chasing a trend from 6 years ago with all these weird beigey brown neutral palettes. I don't get it. Does not compute. last brand that I want to talk about is actually one that I was able to talk about in a video I did where I showed off all the makeup that I bought when I went on a work trip to Ireland. If you missed that video, I'll go ahead and link it up here in the cards for you. It's a good one. But that is something that used to be a staple of my early drag makeup. When I was still a student and I was a broke-ass drag queen and I didn't have Mac money, I didn't have Sephora money, I didn't know what a Sephora was at that time. I was a Walmart bitch, and let me tell you, my favorite Walmart brand of all time, always and forever, Max Factor. Max Factor was so good. This was such a staple brand, and they had such good products. They were started by a Hollywood makeup artist from back in the 40s, the 30s and 40s, the beginning of the Hollywood era. He was the makeup artist to the stars and started this brand. And it was in Walmart. It was in every drugstore. Their foundations were amazing. They actually pioneered the first liquid lipstick. So if you're like me and you're a fan of liquid lipstick, Max Factor is the brand that you can thank. And if you hate liquid lipsticks, I guess Max Factor is the brand you should be cursing right now, because they came out with Lipfinity and they called it a demi-permanent lip color. And it was the first liquid lipstick that dried down to a matte finish. It was so good. I loved it. It was a game changer. I remember when I bought some of that, and then the next time I went to Winnipeg, I checked in at the MAC counter and I was like, so Max Factor put out this paint on lip color that dries down, and you need an oil remover, it's a long wear sort of thing. Do you guys carry that? And I remember the MAC girl, as MAC girls tend to be, was so snooty to me, and she was just like,
Mac really isn't in the business of chasing trends like that. Oh.
She was so full of herself. Fast forward a year and a half, and MAC was pimping out their Pro Longwear, which became a staple of their line for years. Fuck you, bitch, whose name I don't remember, from Winnipeg from 15 years ago. Clearly, I can hold a grudge. I'm a Capricorn. It comes naturally. So I loved it. I love Max Factor. I had this denim blue lipstick that was just gorgeous. And I had a red lipstick and a pink lipstick. And that was my lipstick wardrobe when I was first, even before I was doing shows, when I was first playing around with developing a drag persona and developing a look. I was just kind of getting dressed in my house and playing and learning about makeup. I didn't have a drag mom. YouTube wasn't a thing. You couldn't watch videos online. I was just trying to figure it out. And at Halloween and at different times, at holiday, they would put out little instructional booklets that would show you how to create a Marilyn look, or maybe use some of their products for a more kind of effects, spooky kind of look. It was so good. I love Max Factor. Now something happened and they disappeared from the US, and they were only available on this one website for a little while. They are still available internationally. So when I went over to Ireland, I found some in the Heathrow Airport in London. And also when I got to Ireland, they had them at the pharmacies, the Boots. It was such a wonderful thing to find because I have such fond memories. And I just wish, I've heard rumblings in the past that they've tried to bring it back and it just wasn't successful for whatever reason. But that's the number one out of all of these brands. I mean, if Too Faced and Urban Decay want to keep taking the L, I'm fine with it. Becca, Marc Jacobs, there's only a couple products from those brands that I really liked. Anyway, if there was one brand that I could get to come back, it would be Max Factor. Max Factor, always, always love it. So that is the video. Let me know down below in the comments, what's makeup that you miss? What are some discontinued products or maybe brands that have gone away? You know, with the whole pandemonium that we've been living through for the last couple of years, there have been some makeup companies that have shut down or are in the process of shutting down. Are there any that you miss? Any that you're like,
bye bitch?
Any products that you would like to see come back? Any trends you'd like to see come back? Let me know in the comments. I would love to have a discussion with you. And while you're down there, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Or if you just hate my face and you hate these products and you're glad to see them go ahead and give me a thumbs down. I am not worried about it. It's all engagement. Either way, the algorithm's not a picky bitch. And neither am I. Check my grinder. While you're down there, don't forget you can also subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads. I do really try to upload at least one video a week. Sometimes I slip, but I have been trying to get more regular about it. So I'll try to at least have one video a week for you. And sometimes you might even get a bonus video. Sentimental. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website. Version 3.0 is launching soon, I promise. The World of Champagne at JanessaJ.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this little walk down memory lane. I know sometimes people get all up in their feelings when we talk about things that are discontinued or things they can't get anymore. I just love to relive fun makeup memories, so I hope you like it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. And until I see you again, bye. I wish somebody would have told me then that someday these would be the good old... That's not the words. What are the words? Babe, that's what it is. Yeah, I don't need a lot. Just as long as you can see like green across.
Yeah.
Then that gives me room to edit.
Well, there's not a lot of green across.
As long as there's any. Because sometimes it's like at the wig. And then it's like, anytime I do a jump cut, it's like face, face. And sometimes I want face, but not every time.
You just have a big face.
I
it's gonna be there.
Big face.